Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 3, Episode 180. Today I'm trying a different recording format. I hope will be better. As it turns out, the format I was using before was extremely large and very, very detailed. So I think hopefully with this version, it will pick up less of the background noise. I'm not on the highway yet, so don't get excited yet with what you're hearing. But we'll see what happens with that. So this morning it is 50 degrees, getting off to kind of an early start. Not the earliest it could be because I did have to take a kid to school. But yesterday was an okay day. We had that run-in with that guy, and that was interesting. We'll see what happens. So far, all the feedback I've gotten from people has been, you did the right thing. You gave them more than enough chance, and if someone doesn't have any money or any card or both in a machine, that they're not really holding the machine. So, and that's what I thought, but I tried to give that courtesy, and I waited and waited, and I think I did the right thing there. Let's see here. This morning, last night I continued to check my counting skills and counted down more decks. This morning, more decks, and been pretty much perfect almost every time. Maybe 1 in 100, 1 in more than 100 where I'm making a mistake. So I think everything is okay. Today is going to be kind of a long day. I may have to hurry home. I'll find out this afternoon, so I'll add one more casino or not, depending on if I have to be home to take a kid to a game. So we'll see. I believe this one is a night game, which is kind of unusual, but we'll find out about that. Other than that, everything is good. Just keep grinding, keep doing the same thing, keep doing the right thing, and keep our wits about us. So that's what's going on right now, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, a couple things going on now. I just finished up at the first casino, and it was pretty deserted. Really didn't find any plays that were worthwhile. When I first walked in, I found a $5 a spin play that was good for 2 spins. Made $20 on that. And then I found an dollar spin that was good for a couple spins. Ended up making about $12 on that, and that was it. So overall, ended up ahead $32. The casino was completely dead. There's a play that I've been monitoring there for about 2 weeks that continues to almost be a play, but not quite there. And unfortunately, right now it would cost way too much money to get anything out of that machine. So right now I'm going to be patient and hang in there and wait till things get better. Really, that's all that's going on there. What else was I going to tell you? I forgot. I should have told you right off the bat. Anyway, that's what's going on right now, and I'm heading off to the next casino. At this casino, lately, I've had a hard time finding tables, so hopefully there's something for me to play. And my goal here would be to make between $700 and $1,000 and get out of there. It's hard to find good tables. They do have a double deck that I have not played for years. The reason for that is it's usually a trap. It's a good game with good rules, and they cut it like 10 cards deep, but it's basically a trap to catch card counters, so I stay away from that. Yeah, I forgot what else I was going to say, but alright, I'm going to continue on to the next spot, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back. So I went to the next casino, and there was one playable blackjack table, and I sat down there. Actually, before that, when I first walked in, I was looking at slots, and then I see this guy, and he's like waving his arms and all this. He's all upset and everything, and I know the guy. And I walk up to him. He puts his mask on, which I believe this guy. is really doing it for his health, which is what you want, right? I don't mind if you wear a mask, but he's not doing it for a political statement. He's doing it for his health. And I talked to him, and he's like, between 7 a.m. and now, and it's still morning, guys. I've been to 3 casinos and lost 400 there, 200 there, and 400 here, and I'm down $1,000. Can you believe it? These sons of... And I'm like, yeah, I can believe it. And he's like, worried about me. He's like, how much money did you bring? I said, oh, not too much. He's like, you got to be really careful. Don't lose it, all right? I'm like, okay, all right. And he's like, here's how you do it. So he's going to give me advice, right? Because he just lost all his money, so he's qualified to help me with my money. So he says, just bet $50, and if you win, double it. And if you win again, double it. And if you win that, you leave. And that way it only costs you $50, and you turned it into $200. I'm like, yeah. Or whatever, 400, whatever. So 50 into 100, 100 into 2 into 4. So you would have turned 50 into 400. I said, okay, I'll do it. And I said, are you leaving? Because I know the story here. I know what's going to happen. What's going to happen is he wants to follow me around and see if I win and ask me for some money, right? So I continued my lap around the casino and found no slots because he had already cleaned it out. Now, I don't know if he knows as much as me. I very much doubt it. But 99% sure he doesn't. But I ended up going to the blackjack area. There's only one playable table. It was open. It was a brand new shoe, so I was good. And I played that and really didn't have a lot of turmoil, and only was down just a little bit. I was in my first buy-in the whole time and ended up leaving ahead 525. So like I said, I got lower buy-ins now, so the time is going to be a little bit more extended at casinos. Or not lower buy-ins, lower limits that I'm playing. And I'm actually thinking this next place that I go to, I may actually, if the lower limit table is open, I may actually do a big spread, like 25 to 1,000 or 50 to 1,000, 25 to 500, somewhere in there. I'm really thinking about doing that. So we'll see what tables are available, and we'll go from there. But as for the first place, I ended up ahead 525 on the blackjack, and moving on here to the next casino. All right, guys, I am back. All right, so I go into the next spot, look at slot machines first, doing okay. I'm ahead like $81 on the slots. I go look at for a blackjack table, and I can't find a table to play. And I'm trying to play lower limits, but there's just nothing available. Walk around, finally find a table, sit down. It's me and another guy, and we're just doing horribly right away. I buy in for 500, rebuy for another 500. Still no good. Finally, another table opens up. I switch over to that with a very negative shoe. So it was like minus 18 with 2 decks to go. And then that guy leaves. And that guy was playing awful anyway. He wasn't giving himself a chance. He wasn't splitting 3s against a 6. And he had a pair of 6s, 2 6s against a 6. And he didn't split. He did a lot of things that were a little unusual and probably hurt his chances of winning. But he had about $6,000 in front of him, so I don't know what he was doing right, but something was working for him. When I switched over to the next table, I ended up losing the rest of that 1,000, and then I ended up buying in for another 1,000 total at that table, and it was just not getting any high counts at all. My biggest bet, I think, was 150, maybe 200, so not very high at all. Just didn't have the ability to raise the bet because the counts were just so low. So I did have a nice little run there. I only got one blackjack, by the way, in like an hour and something sitting there. but I got a lot of ace 9s that lost to 4 and 5 card 21s, so that was pleasant. But like I said, I did have a run finally where I had some good variance, and I ended up leaving on a negative shoe plus 700. So plus 700, and went back to the slots again, looked around, and was ready to leave, and then found one more. Actually, before that, this waitress comes up and wants to talk to me, and she sits down next to me, and she's telling me about all her problems and all that kind of stuff and whatever. I get a water from her. We talk for a minute, and she's a nice person, but it's like, I don't know why everybody gravitates to me like that. Or maybe she does it to everyone just to get money. I don't know. But I find another slot before I leave, and that one's at $6 a spin, and I blow 400 like immediately on there, but then I have a couple nice hits on there and end up leaving ahead $484 on slots. So plus 700 on the blackjack, plus 484 on slots. And I did buy a salad, some ham, some turkey, nice vegetables on there, and I had that in the parking lot. Just took my time. Instead of driving and eating, I actually wanted to give myself a present of 5 minutes of peace without driving or worrying or anything like that. So that was good, and right now I am just starting on my way to the next spot, and hopefully things continue to go well, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, let's test the new sound format, see how it sounds in a loud place. I think so far it's been good while I was driving. So anyway, I moved on to the next casino, and I'm still here. I'm checking machines and stuff like that right now, and all I can say is you got to be persistent. I think I've lost the last 4 times I was at this place, and you just have to stay vigilant and persistent and work hard, and eventually it'll come if you're doing all the right things. And today I was able to squeeze out a small victory. I was ahead early. Like I said, I'm playing lower limits, but I was ahead like 612.50 real early on, and ended up giving all that back. And then I was only in for 500, ended up buying in for a total of 1,500. But things finally turned around, and I was able to walk away exactly plus 500 on a negative count. So I'm doing whatever I can, and right now I'm going to continue on here and check the slots, and then I'll be back and update you in the car. But I just wanted to test the sound quality this way. Alright guys, just leaving this place. I think that recording sounded pretty good, and the highway recordings have been sounding pretty good. I don't know what format I was using before, but my phone only had like 31 hours of space available with that format. With this one, I have 600 hours of space. So obviously that one was a little bit more than I needed. It probably made the podcast a lot bigger, and it'll probably stream better for you as well with this new format. So sorry about that. I didn't know. Still working out all the kinks. All right, so I went into the next casino. I told you I played blackjack. I looked around at slots. At the point that I had talked to you, I had not played any slots at all, and continued on. I really didn't find much, and then finally I found one okay play and played that one through. That one was at $2 a spin. Played that one through and ended up leaving ahead $77, but that's the only machine that I played. So at this point, I'm actually pretty good on time. I'm trying to think how I could add more places. I mean, I could go one other place. I don't know. I gotta think it through here, because my schedule was pretty set so I could be home at a certain time, but I think I might be able to squeeze one more place in. So yeah, let me try to do that. Now this place, I hadn't won in a little while here. I'm glad I got a nice W up on the chart and get me out of that bad luck streak that I've been having. So anyway, I'll be back. All right guys, I am back, and I went into the next spot and didn't really find a lot there. Had some free food, picked that up. Played a few small things, but really not really much going on there. Ran into a friend of mine, talked to him for a while, walked around with him for a while, just catching up on stuff. And then I'm getting ready to grab my food and get out of there. And I see a lady that lives like 2 hours away from here. And I see her a whole different set of casinos. And she's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I'm like, "Me? What are you doing here?" She's like, "I was tired of being around that area. I had to get away." I was like, okay. So I talked to her for a minute, and she's like, "You know which machines to play. Which one should I play?" I said, "Don't play this one. It's a really bad machine." She's like, okay. And then she kept on playing it at $3 a spin. So, why even ask the question? It's like the ploppy at the table asking what to do with sixes against the whatever, six. And then you tell them and they do the opposite. So, whatever. It's a nice day now. 84 degrees outside. Clear skies. Just a beautiful day. It's hard sometimes. You're stuck in parking garages and casinos and don't really get to see the light. And how often do you go outside and then the light hits you in the face and you're like shocked that it's so bright outside because it's been so dark where you've been. But overall had let me see, pretty decent day, I guess. Not great, but decent. Did we take any losses? No losses. 550, 1250, 14, 16, 17, 30, 22, 30, 23, almost 2400. So not a bad day. Just got to keep doing the right thing and keep grinding. I really don't even care anymore about the daily wins and losses. I really, sometimes I'll be on my way home and I'll be like, I have no idea how I did today. And I'll look and I'll be like, wow, I did good or I did bad. And except for those really big losses, those really just stab you in the heart sometimes. But it's nice to be chipping away at it right now. I think just in the last couple days, last 3 days, got $5,000 back, so that's all good, and we're going to keep working at it. Tonight, right now I have to stop and get gas again. I got gas right before I left, and I've got to stop again, and I have to get home, clean out the car, get home, and then I got to take my kid to a soccer game, so that'll be good. That game will be over about 9:30 or 10, and then I have to run home and go to sleep so I can wake up early tomorrow and do it all again. So anyway, I'll be back. All right, guys. I got a mail question I want to talk to you about. Not like a male and female, like email question. So someone emailed me and they had heard me talking about how is it possible for a casino to stack the deck against you? And I'm thinking probably not. But is it possible? I mean, is it at all possible? And I think the answer is yes, it is possible. But no, it probably does not happen. But if you had the right algorithm for the card shufflers, you could probably make something that would be mostly losing for the player. But I don't know for sure. And I got an email, someone asking me if it's possible for them to take 10s out, and the answer is no. The reason it's not possible is because almost every casino uses an automatic shuffler, and an automatic shuffler will have a red light if there's a card missing, and it will even tell you which card. For some reason, 3 of spades seems to happen a lot. I don't know why, but I've had that pop up a lot. I don't know if that's some default thing, if the thing is malfunctioning, but I have seen where the shuffler says that there's a card missing, and then it will tell you what card is missing. So I don't think that that's possible. What I do think is possible, though, is instead of removing 10s, you can put all the 10s in the front. But what does that do? How do you know it's in the front, right? So depending on where you cut it, it could be in a place that would be great for the card counter. So I'm going to say the answer is probably no. I think that there are some kind of combinations out there where it could be problematic. Like you could have like 6 10s in a row, and if you have one player, then the player and the dealer will both get 10s, and the next hand the player and the dealer will each get 1 10, no matter which way you slice it. So that's going to happen most of the time. I can think of some scenarios where that won't happen, but then you just wasted 6 10s. That's almost the same as throwing them away. What I'm very concerned with is how I'm seeing so much clumping of aces lately, and aces are a way that you could lose. A bunch of aces together takes away your edge. That's why 6 to 5 blackjack is 99% of the time not worth it, because you get a big part of the edge against the house from that 3 to 2, and if the aces are all clumped together, 6 aces in a row or something like that, then the odds of you getting a blackjack are going to be smaller. Especially most of the markets that I play are no resplit aces. I do play a couple markets that are resplit aces, so you could end up with 2 aces and a dealer ace, and then you split them and get 2 more aces, and then the dealer get 2 aces and a 6, and you're done. You just wasted whatever 6 7 aces, and you lost the hand, and you lost double your money. So, and that would be with a high count. You know, if you had a high count, imagine how much money you could lose. So I see scenarios like that, but I don't want you guys to think that I'm saying that casinos are cheating. I'm saying that some casinos in the past have cheated. I do agree with that. There's plenty of stuff online about that stuff, and actually a friend of mine sent me a let me see if I can find it, an article about DraftKings. DraftKings fined $19,000 in Connecticut after online slot machine produces 0 wins in 20,000 spins. So that stuff is possible. People like Elliot Jacobson, I believe, will do audits of these online casinos, and most of them don't want an audit, or they just want to pay him to say that it's good so that they can get people to play there. But most offshore, especially casinos, I would not play online. The ones onshore, I probably would not play online either. I never have, except for the one little loophole thing that I found with a poker site, and then they ended up filling that in and then totally trying to screw me on it after that. So yeah, good question. I just don't see an easy way for them to do it. I think I've told you guys the story about how I met Bo, my friend who died last year in June. He was doing an underground poker game, and he had leased the place for like $1,200 for the weekend, and he was going to have a poker game and blackjack, which is totally illegal. And he actually pulled all the 10s, the number 10s, out of all the decks. And I went and played blackjack, this is before I was card counting, and destroyed him on that game. And I won whatever it was, 1,600, whatever. And I felt so bad for him. I had just met the guy, and he said he couldn't pay his bills now. And so he had some of those pull tabs. You know, they have those at bingo games and Indian casinos and stuff, where you rip them off and you see if you won or not. So I bought like 20 of those just to help the guy out, and I ended up winning the top prize on that, and he didn't have the money to pay me. And his job was a chef. And he owned pizza restaurants, other restaurants, things like that. And he was even on TV, cooking on TV, and teaching people how to cook. So when I heard that, then we made a deal for the money that he still owed me. But I think I ended up paying the part of the rent that he couldn't afford to pay in exchange for him giving my wife cooking lessons. And that's how we became friends. So that was a long time ago. I would say that was 14, 13 years ago, something like that. And that's how we became friends. So anyway, I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. So closing in on home right now. Just chilling, taking my time, relaxing. I've run through this single deck in the car so many times while I was driving, watching some videos, listening to stuff, educating myself, trying to make myself better. And I want to tell you, I'm just thinking about this right now. Maybe next week, I'm thinking maybe I will go on one of those water fasts where you don't eat anything, you just drink water, and see how I feel. Because lately I've been eating so much garbage casino food, and it's hard not to when it's free, but it's hard to find anything decent at those places. So I'm thinking about doing that. I've never done it before. I've never not eaten before, but I'm considering it. So give me your ideas if you know anything about that stuff. I'd be interested in learning about it. Are you just going to lose water weight and gain it right back, or is it actually worthwhile to do that? So that's what's going on right now. And like I said, getting close to home right now. Going to pick up my kid, go to soccer, and I'll be back with you tomorrow. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.